Being able to build a house without radiators, boilers and heating pipes is an architect's dream, but it has always been a chilly one.
Hello, my name is Pierre Glorieux. I'm from Belgium, and I started to produce heating glass some 20 years ago. So let's say I made the first heating glass pane.
I'm Peter Bartels, and also from Belgium originally, and I'm the managing director of IQ Glas UK. We started the company last year in May, and like Pierre said, it's originated here because the guy that produces it in Belgium is actually a very good friend, hence why we picked it up here in the UK.
Convincing people that heated glass was safe was also a key hurdle for IQ Glass.
In the beginning, nobody seemed to believe me, so it was very hard to make people believe that it was possible to heat by means of glass. But with the years and with everything we tried, there were several companies helping me. We had Barco Electronics in Belgium. I had the professor of the University of Leuven who was helping me. So finally we succeeded in making a heating glass pane. What we want to reach with heating glass is to make it in fact the most fantastic product in the world, because you bring comfort on a simple way. You don't have any maintenance anymore, you don't have any losses anymore. You have always the sun in your house. And what we will reach is to make a new product in this way, that we want to make it a sustainable product. So there is a lot of future.
But heated glass is not just confined to heating windows in your home, and the heat does not escape to the outside.
We are not only making heating glass, we also make heating mirrors. We are making handy tower radiators. So there is a lot to do, a lot of possibilities. We also have heating glass to melt the snow on the roofs when you go to the Scandinavian countries or to Siberia. There are so many possibilities with the glass.
Only in wildest fantasies could it be imagined that a house could be heated by the glass in its windows. But that fantasy is actually the reality, and it has been for the last 20 years thanks to IQ Glass. That fantasy come reality is now available in the UK.
The feedback we have from architects is just amazing, because we are now involved in a project where there is a vast majority is glass, and the architects say if it was just traditional glazing, it would have never been possible to build a project like that, because our installation values are just brilliantly and very, very low. So it gives now the perspective for the architects to have a large amount of glass in the properties, and that's what people want. So that's a great future for us, those things.
There are a lot of barriers to getting a product into a market where most people have never seen anything like it before, and getting the right staff to install the system can also be very difficult.
The beginning is always very, very difficult. I have experienced it in Belgium and in France and in Germany already, because when you have somebody who wants your product, so the buyer is interested in your product, but then he say, anyhow, before I buy, before I sign, can you talk to my architect? So the architect doesn't know the product either. So you have again to convince him of all the advantages of the product. And then they say, okay, the product is maybe good, you visit some reference, and then they say, yes, but will we be able to heat up the whole house? So then you have to make heat loss calculations. So it's again other people. So first you have the buyer, you have the architect, then you have an engineering office making all the heat loss calculations. So to really sell the product, it's a long way to go, and you don't have to convince only the buyer, but you have to convince the whole world of your product.
Yes, that's correct.
So it's really a long way to go. It's not simple. That's maybe, if I can say, that's one of the reasons why we don't have very much competitors in our product. Because somebody who is in the glass world, he can only place glass, but he is not used to put electricity, to put cables. He doesn't make any heat loss calculations, and the electrician who knows all those things cannot install glass. So that's why other competitors, they don't come to the product because it's too difficult to sell it. It's too many phases to go.
And that's what we experienced when we launched the product in the UK. Is a lot of people asked us that we were at the 100% Detail exhibition in Earls Court last year, and a lot of architects asked us if you comply with the building regulations.
Yeah, also.
And to be honest, sorry, at this stage we don't know it yet because we are a young company, and and every country, of course, got different rules and regulations.
The whole house is heated only by the glass heating. It is something very new. And when we designed the house, and when I was thinking about building this particular house, the idea was to have the latest technology and the latest energy-saving products. Heated glass was of some interest, but at the time, obviously, I didn't know too much about the product itself. So here we are today. The house is now almost complete, and the whole house is fitted with heated glass. And the only form of heating in this particular property is the glass. One of the things that I was very concerned about, obviously, was the energy factors and the energy savings that we could possibly achieve by looking at new technology. The technology in this house and the design effectively reduces the heat loss that you would get from any conventional house. There is no heat loss through the windows like there is on a conventional house with triple glazing, for example. We have a positive heat gain from each piece of glass in the house, which in itself is very efficient in terms of the way it manages the heat required for the house. So what that means, as far as I'm concerned, is that I am now using less energy to heat the same space, and I'm not losing as much energy as I would have been with a conventional type of heating, because it's not going back out the window. I'm led to believe that I've got a 400 watt gain per square metre from my windows, as opposed to a heat loss even with the most efficient windows. So that's a very important factor, and it's taking advantage of new technology and new ideas. And the fact that I'm not losing energy through the window, and I'm actually gaining my heat from the window, those two are big important factors which in today's environment and the fact that we're all trying to do our bit for the environment are very important.
I'm Tony Cowd, I'm the project architect for Peter Taylor's. We're representing our client who's building this building. The reason that we're using heated glass is a combination of elements, one of which is the new regulations, SAPCAL's new values. Our client wanted large open aspect, especially on the top, on the penthouse flats. He also wanted uncluttered walls, no heating elements like radiators or any other heating functions that are out on view, keeping the whole building sleek and clean. We avoid solar gain. The efficiency of the glass is such that even on a hot day, inside will remain cool, and on a cold day, inside will remain warm. From an architectural point of view, the fact that most heat is lost through windows, it seems logical to heat the windows so that the actual building is kept warm. We personally didn't believe it when we first heard about it, and it wasn't until IQ Glass came in and gave us a demonstration with several sheets of glass set up in our conference room, and I was the idiot who was sat in the corner next to them and was sweating by the end of the meeting, and it certainly proved that it worked, and it was very, very efficient, both their mirrored product and their glazing product, and that to us proved how efficient it was. Architecturally, one of the things that we've found with this is we believe that this would, without the use of heated glass, have been one of the last buildings where we could have put a large glazed atrium on the top of the building. With the use of the heated glass, I think more buildings under the new regulations will be able to have large glazed atrium areas and large glazed penthouse areas. I think that will change, not so much change, but more keep design as it were, progressing forward without regulation implications slowing down or changing aspects of design.
The future is brilliant because there is so much to do, and we know that we are able to do it. It's only a question of time and agreements and so on. But the future is bright anyhow.
And warm.
And warm.